Welcome back to Chapter 4 of our series, Career Change, Reinvent Yourself at Any Age. In this episode, titled Research, Explore New Fields Before Jumping, we'll dive into the importance of conducting thorough research on potential career fields to ensure your next move aligns with your passions and goals. So, let's get started. Most people spend more time researching a new phone than a new career. One listener I spoke with nearly quit teaching for UX design until 3 short conversations with designers revealed the parts she'd actually hate. That tiny bit of research changed her entire plan. 64% of career changers who did a structured deep dive into their new field ended up more satisfied. That's not luck. That's the compounding power of good questions and slow, deliberate investigation. In this episode, we're treating your potential new path less like a spontaneous road trip and more like testing a recipe. You want to know the ingredients, the time it takes, and whether the result actually fits your taste before you serve it to guests. Instead of focusing on, do I want this title? We'll zoom in on 3 quieter, more telling signals: how the work is changing over the next decade, what skills are truly non-negotiable, and how people already doing it really feel after the honeymoon phase. You'll see how a few hours with labor market data, a short list of pointed questions, and a simple skills map can save you months of wandering in the wrong direction. Now we'll zoom out from individual stories and treat your potential move like a research project with real stakes. Before you bet months of effort on a new path, you need to know 3 things: whether this field is actually expanding, how vulnerable it is to automation, and what good looks like at the 5-year mark. That's where sources like BLS, LinkedIn, and Lightcast quietly become your best allies. They show you if demand is rising, which roles are crowding, and where people actually stick around instead of churning through endless starter jobs. Think of this stage as stress testing your dream against reality, not trying to kill it. Most people stop at, is this field growing? But that's just step 1. The richer question is, growing into what? Is it sprouting stable, mid-level roles people actually stay in, or just a flush of entry-level posts with a revolving door? Start by dissecting how the work is changing, not just how much of it exists. When a field grows, it usually stretches in a few predictable ways. Some tasks get standardized, some get automated, and some become more strategic. The prize roles sit where complexity and human judgment rise, not where repetition lives. In practice, that means looking beyond job titles and into the responsibilities section. Are the newer postings for your target role asking for more client interaction, more data interpretation, more cross-functional work than ones from 3 years ago? That's a clue that the value is shifting upstream. Next, map out the entry ramps people actually use. Every field has a visible front door, Junior X, Associate Y, and a bunch of side doors, adjacent roles that lead in. Use LinkedIn filters to trace real paths. Click into profiles of people currently doing the job you want and scroll backwards. What were their last 2 roles? What industries did they come from? You're looking for patterns like former teachers, instructional designers, or support reps, customer success managers. Those are proven bridges you can potentially reuse. Then, zoom forward instead of backward. Search people who've been in your target field for 5 to 10 years. Where did they end up? Burned out and pivoting again, or moving into lead, principal, or specialist positions? The Lightcast finding that retention is highest in roles with strong growth and lower automation risk shows up clearly here. Long-tenured pros in healthy fields don't have resumes full of defensive detours. Finally, reality check the texture of the work. Titles can sound similar while day-to-day life is wildly different across companies. Read employee reviews but filter for specifics: how people talk about pace, autonomy, learning, and how success is measured. You're not hunting for a perfect culture. You're trying to see whether the typical week in this field lines up with how you like to spend your energy. Here's where the research gets concrete. Say you're drawn to climate work. That's still fuzzy. Pull up job postings from 3 different corners: a climate tech startup, a city government sustainability office, and a big utility company. You'll see 3 very different flavors of green: fast pivot product roles, policy-heavy analyst work, and operations-driven engineering or project management. Same theme, wildly different Tuesdays. Now layer in a skills lens. For each posting, highlight the verbs model, negotiate, coordinate, prototype, facilitate. Those are the real muscles you'd use all week. Notice which verbs repeat across environments. That cluster becomes your target skill bundle, not the buzzwords in the title. Talking to insiders then shifts from, "So what do you do?" to, "How much of your week is spent on those verbs?" That's how you separate roles that only sound aligned with you from the ones that actually match how you like to think and work. Soon, exploration itself becomes part of your professional reputation. Employers will care less about linear paths and more about how you run small, evidence-based experiments on yourself and your options. Think of it like tuning an instrument. AI tools can suggest which strings to tighten, flagging skills to add or risks to avoid, but you still have to listen, adjust, and decide when the sound fits you well enough to play loudly in public. Treat this next phase like prepping a trail before a long hike. You're not committing to the summit, just clearing branches so you can see the path. Your notes, conversations, and datasets become signposts, not shackles. Stay curious, keep adjusting your route, and let each small, low-risk test upgrade your sense of direction before you spend real energy on the climb. Before next week, ask yourself, if I gave myself just 7 to 10 days to test drive this new field instead of committing to it, what specific experiment would I run? Who would I email? What community or Slack/Discord would I join? And what 1 to 2 real problems in that field would I try to understand? Then ask, after spending an hour reading actual job descriptions, portfolio examples, or case studies from this field, which parts of the day-to-day work genuinely excite me, and which parts clearly drain me just imagining them? Finally ask, if someone already working in this field let me shadow them for half a day, what 3 questions would I absolutely need to ask to know whether this path fits my values, my preferred work style, and the lifestyle I want? This was Owl Up, your daily step forward. This series continues with more chapters on owlup.co. Visit owlup.co to access the complete course and continue your learning journey. See you there!